Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The Lloydminster Public Library gave a recent presentation to City Council regarding their past year in review. It was an incredibly successful year for the library, having over 90,000 visitors in 2023. Last year, they were also able to triple the amount of programs they offer, with 347 programs offered in the year alone.
By a financial contribution from the city and city taxpayers. That's the biggest portion of where the support is. One of the council members sits on the library board that sets policy and direction at the library from the perspective that by the city choosing to go into a lease at the mall, I think that was another big step taken a few years ago.
From the old library being located in a basement, the change of scenery on top of more volunteers have boosted the library's overall statistics.
It's just sprang up dramatically since we've changed the locale ground level at the mall. It just speaks to the benefits of having that library much more publicly accessible, is what people have told me, and I appreciate that very much. And from that perspective, it's yielding rewards because we're seeing the numbers increase dramatically on all fronts.
Over 120,000 physical resources were circulated around the library in 2023, with the number of e-resources sitting at almost 50,000. The Lloydminster Public Library is putting on many events for kids of all ages this weekend and going into next week. Library Director Cheryl Sikora has been putting on these fun events for many years and is bringing some new ones to the border city starting this weekend.
So the kids are off school next week, so we've got lots of fun things going on in the library. On Saturday, we will be making planet night lights. So we'll be rolling ping pong balls in paint. And Sunday, we will be making friendship bracelets and swapping them out Taylor Swift style.
The library will be closed on Monday, but the events will start back up on Tuesday and can take part in making Harry Potter mandrakes. Wednesday will feature a Play Snow event, while Thursday and Friday will have glitter jars and sensory slime for all participants. The events don't stop there, as there will be things to do for people of other age groups.
So each day, the scheduled events are from 2 to 4, and they're completely drop-in. So as long as there's space, you're welcome to join us. And then also each day, there will be some sort of drop-in thing all day, every day. So we have a mini golf pool, we have family games, Kiva sticks, Lego, that kind of thing. So it'll be something different.
To find out more about the upcoming fun at the library, please visit their website. Callum Hawker, Primetime Local News. Lloyd Lanes is having a bowling event this weekend that gives different prizes for the winning players. The second annual Turkey Bowl is a partnered event of Bowl Canada and Think Turkey that gives away a total of $17,500 in shared prizes. Jody McDonald told us the procedure on how to enter the contest.
To bowl, and you get 3 strikes in a row, which is known as a turkey in the bowling world. You take a picture of the screen up there, and you can hashtag Think Turkey on Instagram or go at Canadian Turkey on Facebook, and you'll have a chance at winning up to, they have $17,500 in prizes to give away.
The event is open for everyone, and early booking is recommended to avoid wait times. Winners will get various prizes provided by the organizations.
A variation of prizes. It's a lot of gift cards, and it's up to $17,500 just in different denominations they're giving out, and it's all across Canada.
The event will take place tomorrow until Monday. A number of people in Lloydminster have fallen victim to the grandparent scam and other fraud attempts. Stacey Comer has some tips and information to help prevent this from happening to you.
I have a special guest today joining me on Primetime Local News. Harmolik Brar is here. Harmolik is the Chief Risk Officer with Synergy Credit Union. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Stacey.
I would like to talk today about fraud and some specific fraud that has been happening that you guys have been, it's been brought to your attention within Synergy Credit Union. One of the biggest scams that seems to be happening is the grandparent scam. And unfortunately, there are many people who are being victims or have been victims because of this. So can you talk a little bit about what this scam is?
Most definitely. So this scam usually involves a grandparent or a parent getting a call, usually from a distressed family member, a family member who's in a precarious situation, and they need money right away. And what ends up happening is the bad actor or whoever else is involved in the scam usually tells the person, the vulnerable person, that they aren't to talk to anybody else about this. They're not to tell any of their family members. They're not to tell their financial institution. They're not to tell the authorities what's going on, but only follow their direction to go get the money and either deposit it or transact it in the way the scammer wants so that they get what they need. And then ultimately, the grandparent or the parent is usually left in a situation where they think they're helping their loved one, but it turns out that they're just getting scammed out of their savings.
Now, there have been some incidences of this happening from the clients at Synergy. Do you know roughly how much has been lost, or can you give me an estimate of what these people ask for in the scams, or is it different every time?
It is different. It does vary, but so far what I can tell you is we have seen folks lose in the thousands related to this scam. So it's usually not small amounts. Sometimes it could be small, but what we've seen is in the thousands, unfortunately.
Now, because this preys on a lot of older people, and it may be people who, as soon as they get the information, they just follow along right away, and they are instructed to not call their loved ones, so they don't. How can this be prevented? Can you give us like some tips on what these people could do if they get these calls, even if it seems like it's urgent and they're told not to tell anybody else?
Yeah, for this particular scam, it's good to have a bit of a plan in place with your loved ones, especially those that are older, and talk to them about it. In the event that they are to get a phone call of this nature, to hang up immediately, not to follow any of the instructions, and to actually contact a trusted family member to find out what's truly going on. So that's one measure to protect themselves. The other piece is around just pausing. Just stop, pause, and breathe, and just reflect on the situation. It's usually not that urgent as sometimes the bad actor makes it seem, but they want to draw that urgency to it so that the person on the other end of the phone will react immediately, go get the money, and give them what they need. So that's the other piece around it, just to pause and reflect. But again, it goes back to this basic verbiage that I talk about. If a stranger calls you and asks you for money, if they showed up to your door and asked you for it, you wouldn't hand over thousands right away. So why would you do that over the phone, and why would you follow through on it? So again, have a bit of a plan and action in place with your loved ones and talk to them about the scam, educate them and inform them on what's going on. But if you ever receive these phone calls, just hang up immediately or just pause and stop if you need to actually think through the incident, but have a plan in place.
Is there any recourse once this happens and someone is scammed out of their money? If none of these people are charged, is there a way to get that money back? Or once it's gone, is it gone?
It depends on how the transaction is done. So most of the time, the scammers will ask for the money to be deposited to them or transacted to them through Bitcoin. Bitcoin can't be traced, and so it makes it that much harder for even authorities to trace the money or catch the perpetrator. So it depends on that. Again, the best rule of thumb is don't send your money to anybody that you don't know. That's the simple rule of thumb to follow. I mean, again, if you do find yourself to be a victim of a fraud of this sort, to talk to your financial institution, and they will guide you through the steps that you need to take to report the incidents to the authorities and so on and so forth.
When it comes to education about these scams, obviously the grandparent scam isn't the only one. Are people in the branch open to chatting with their customers about, even just having them come in and give them tips on what they could be looking for in the future? Say if people are concerned that their elderly parents could be in a position where they might get scammed, can they make appointments and say, "Hey, we'd like to chat with somebody just to go over a few things and give them the help that they need, more, I guess, as a preventative measure?"
Most definitely. Our branch members and our teams at all of our branches are very aware of what's happening in the fraud space. So they're more than happy to have those conversations with our members to educate them on it. They're also quite intuitive. So when someone does come to our branches and ask for large sums of transactions and are weary about sharing that information, they will ask some questions. So it's also incumbent on our members and those that we interact with just to be forthcoming with that information, as embarrassing it may seem or as precarious it may seem because of what the fraudster has told them to do. Be forward and truthful about the information. We can actually help you at that point more so, since after the fact it's a bit harder to do. The other pieces are on our Synergy website. The Synergy Credit Union website has a section on fraud awareness and how to better protect yourself. So we have some great resources online, as well as the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center on being aware of scams and how to protect yourself, and also what to do if in the unfortunate event you are a victim of a fraud.
Well, Harmolik, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. If people are looking for that information, can you give us the link to the website just so they know where to go and check it out?
You bet. It should be on your screen right now. And so if folks go to that link or as well as the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, they should be able to get more information. And again, if there's any additional questions they have, they can reach out to our teams at Synergy Credit Union to get more information to better educate or inform themselves.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And hopefully everybody can get a handle on this and know the information ahead of time. Your financial institution at Synergy has been fantastic in getting the word out. So here's hoping we can bring an end to these scam and these scammers who are unfortunately finding so many victims in the area. It's a very sad thing. So thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and on behalf of myself and Synergy Credit Union, thank you for getting this word out on this important subject. So appreciate your help with this.
It's time now for our first look at the weather report as I'm joined by Abby St. John. And Abby, it snowed a little bit earlier on this week. Is there anything new today or going into this weekend?
We're actually going to have a pretty nice weekend out, and tomorrow won't be as windy as well, so that's going to be nice. And sunny. We're going to have a sunny day tomorrow, which is always nice to see, especially this time of year. But currently we are only sitting at -5, so today was fairly nice. However, with that wind chill, it feels closer to -12 with that wind coming in at 24 kilometers per hour. I did say yesterday that it was going to be quite a windy day out today, but we did see a lot of sunshine, which is always nice to see no matter what. Current temperatures across Alberta, -6 also out in Vermilion and Marwayne, -5 in Provost and Wainwright, -4 in Vegreville and St. Paul, 0 out in Edmonton, -3 in Bonnyville and Cold Lake, and -1 up in Lac La Biche. And on the Saskatchewan side, -1 up in Isle La Crosse and Meadow Lake, -3 in Pierceland, -2 out in Green Lake, -4 in St. Walburg, -6 in Maidstone and Macklin, and -5 out in North Battleford. Overnight tonight in North Battleford will drop down to -11. Should be clear skies. The wind will be a little bit strong at 17 kilometers per hour, but other than that, it should be a fairly nice evening out. And then tomorrow, a daytime high of -3 and plenty of sunshine, so it's going to be a very sunny day out and not too cold either. 11 kilometer per hour wind, so it shouldn't be too bad. Cold Lake overnight tonight will drop down to -12. A little bit of cloud coverage, but for the most part, it should be quite clear. 15 kilometer per hour winds as well, and that will slow down to 9 kilometers for tomorrow with a daytime high of +1 and just a little bit of patchy clouds throughout the day, so it should be a lot more sunnier than cloudy. Overnight tonight here in Lloydminster will drop down to -8. Clear but windy. The wind will pick up to 26 kilometers per hour, but it should slow down as we go into tomorrow. Around 6 a.m. it'll be -7, mostly clear. That wind will be at 22 kilometers per hour. And then about noontime, we'll see that sun peeking out, mostly sunny. -4 will be that temperature at around noon, 15 kilometer per hour winds, and then 13 kilometer per hour winds by 6 p.m. with -7 as the temperature. And then midnight, it will be our overnight temperature will be around -13 with winds at 9 kilometers per hour. And then over the next 3 days, a high -2 and a low of -17 for tomorrow. On Sunday, it will be a little bit cooler with periods of sun with a high of -8 and a low of -15. And then back on Monday, partially sunny skies with a high of -8 and a low of -15 as well. So we're going to have a pretty sunny weekend this weekend, especially it being the long weekend. So that's going to be really nice to look forward to. But as a first look at your evening weather forecast, I'll have more overnight temperatures later on in the show.
Today on Primetime Local News by Tyler Hall. Tyler is the chairperson for Tele Miracle 48. Tyler, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, 48 years of Tele Miracle, that is pretty amazing, coming up on 50 here in a couple of years. So let's talk about Tele Miracle itself, just in case there's people who don't know what it is. Can you explain how Tele Miracle works?
Yeah, Tele Miracle, we take donations from people all over at our telethon and throughout the year. And then it goes towards people in need that need medical travel for cancer treatments or surgeries, and it could be out of province surgeries. And then also like medical equipment like scooters and walkers and ramps to get into your house and lifts. So yeah, whatever somebody needs for medical equipment and can't afford it, they can reach out to Tele Miracle.
Well, and the telethon itself airs on the CTV stations, including here in Lloydminster. And that's about 20 hours. Plus, obviously, you have the countdown to Tele Miracle. There's a lot of work that goes into this, Tyler. How do you coordinate something like this?
Oh, it's a year-long process. Even before last year's show, I was planning my logo and my committee and everything, and then we learned how to our roles at last year's show, and then as soon as that show was over, we're preparing for this year already. So yeah, and then getting all your SAS talent and everything was in the fall and auditions. So yeah, it's a year-long process.
Well, tell me about how the event actually starts, Tyler. You guys have something called Countdown to Tele Miracle. What is that?
Yeah, the countdown to Tele Miracle starts before the show. It's only live stream on their website at telemiracle.com. And then we just have some SAS talent that are going to perform. They're from all over Saskatchewan, just so we could get more SAS talent into the show, so you could join in then to see those talent.
Well, one thing that is unique about the Saskatchewan talent too is that they also fundraise for the show. They're not just there to perform. So, how much does that help out?
Yeah, the SAS talent brings in on over $100,000 every year, just them. And this year we went with Nutrien again, and they will match all SAS talent donations up to 100,000. So we're grateful for that, and hopefully we're on pace again this year to reach that again. So
You guys also have a 50-50 that runs as part of this. Can people start buying into that now?
yes, tickets are available at telemiracle5050.com. You get your tickets online there, and our draw is the Friday right before the show at 4:30. So ticket sales shut off at 4 o'clock. So get your tickets in.
Now, as far as the actual financial goal is for the Tele Miracle Telethon, do you guys set one every year, or do you just go in hoping for whatever comes in?
Nope, we have no goal. We just hope for the best, and we just hope that Saskatchewan and all our sponsors and people that donate just come back and support us. So
One of the things too that has happened over the past few years is people leave legacies for the Tele Miracle Foundation. How can people go about doing that, and why is it important to maybe plan ahead if we're doing something like that to let your family know what your wishes are?
yeah, it takes a lot of planning for anybody that make sure it's in their will, so the whole family understands what they want to do with their money after they pass. And they just have to contact the office in Saskatoon, and then yeah, we have our office staff that'll look after the whole family and what their needs and what they want for the plan giving.
You guys have been lucky to have a really good national cast as well that really keeps that show moving. So, are we going to see some of the familiar faces back again this year?
Yes, we will. We have Jeff Stryker and Jill Stryker, and then we have Beverly Mahood, Brad Johnner. Brad Johnner's son Luke is going to be there too as a national cast. We also have Beverly Mahood, of course. She's going to be back again. And then we also have like Tegan Little Chief and a few local Saskatchewan singers too. And so it's going to be great.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Tyler. And if people are looking for more information, obviously you can donate during the telethon. But if they want to find out ahead of time about some of the talent, or talk about buying the 50-50 like we discussed, is there one place that they can go to find all the information for the telethon ahead of time?
Yes, like you just go to telemiracle.com, and all our information is on there. The link to the 50-50 is on there. So yep, just go to telemiracle.com.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me, Tyler. I know you got a busy week ahead of you, so good luck with Tele Miracle 48.
Thank you very much.
Coming up this weekend, it's the Family Day Long weekend, and on Monday, it's a Winterfest. There's going to be a number of activities that you and your family can enjoy at 5 different facilities here in Lloydminster. If you head to Bud Miller Park, there's going to be a skating party on the pond with a DJ. Plus, there's going to be horse-drawn wagon rides, coloring in the nature room, and more. If you head to the BioClean Aquatic Center, there's going to be free public swimming and an obstacle course. If you want to try out curling, head to the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center. The Lloydminster Museum and Archive vibes. It's free admission on Monday. You can make a craft in the art studio, try out some heritage activities and more. And if you head to the Service Sports Center, that is going to be a busy place. There's go-karts there. There's going to be the Guardian Fun Zone. There's going to be a snowflake scramble search, a chance to go skating, and live entertainment featuring the Prairie Dogs. Winterfest, it's coming up on Monday. You can get all the details on the city's website, lloydminster.ca. Tickets are now available for the first show in the Lloyd Locals series at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. Two local singers, songwriters, and storytellers, they're going to take to the stage coming up on March 27th. Amanda Koopa and Caroline Park, they've both been writing songs and performing for years, and they're really excited to be a part of this initiative. For more details on the series and to get your tickets, you can go online right now, vicjubatheatre.ca. There's still time for you to register for the annual Race of Vermilion. It's coming up on March 16th. There's still a few spots available. For all the details and to get signed up, you can go online to thegoodlifeinstitute.ca. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm very happy to be joined here today on a Friday. It's perfect for a little entertainment. I'm joined here with an Edmonton-based rapper called Poltergeist OD. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Now, I love talking to, smaller artists, trying to get their name out there. So tell me a little bit about your background and the inspiration behind your name and all that fun stuff before we get into what we're here for.
For sure. So, growing up, I was more like a metalhead, as you can probably tell. It was like metal or nothing. I was kind of like gatekeeping elitist about it. But I moved to Alberta from Newfoundland in 2008, 2007. And I met these two guys. They go by Razor Wire and Nick Obscene. And all three of us together are a group called Obscene Division. And we just started rapping one day. They got me into like darker rap, like Brother Lynch Hung, Gmo Ski, 3-6 Mafia, like horror type stuff. And I've been collecting horror movies, and I've been a huge horror fan for my whole life since I was like 6 years old. So this kind of came easy to me. Like it wasn't this big like revelation or anything. We were just kind of hanging out in a garage, and we just started rapping. And eventually started putting songs out there, started getting some shows around Edmonton. And a fan of that hit me up, and he was putting together a Halloween documentary, like a fan-made documentary about Michael Myers. And he asked me if I would like to write a song about Michael Myers for the documentary. So me thinking that's a great idea, I send that idea to one of my producers, Mock Beats, and he had the beat to me within an hour. Within an hour of that, I had the song written. I had it recorded the next week. It just came so easy. And when that got a good reception online, I was like, this might be my thing. This is my calling. So that kind of spiraled into me like rapping from the perspective of horror movie villains. And eventually I just landed on Stephen King, and I'm like, what movie do I do? And I was like, why not all of them? That's how this song kind of came together. I was just like, how many references can I pack into like 4 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And it seemed like it really just all fell together and came very naturally to you, for sure. And I think the horror genre it's such it's such a huge genre. There's so many things to get material from for sure. And it's very unique in that way that you are taking the perspective of these horror villains. Stephen King, I think he's the king, I think, of horror novels, especially for years. And there's a ton of movie and a series based on his work. So I think that's, you have a lot of material to grab from with Stephen King. So tell me a little bit about the process of writing King, the single that we're going to be talking about, that it has been released, and kind of some key points to what inspired you to write the song.
So when I put out a single, I I usually edit the footage from the movies into a lyric video to kind of go along with my references, to kind of just like hammer in what I'm saying and like what I'm referencing. So with King, I wanted to go with the movie adaptations for that video aspect. So I wrote down all the movie adaptations that have ever been done from a Stephen King novel, and I just went from there, just started rhyming them, piecing it together like a jigsaw puzzle. And it took, oh, I want to say 2 years to write. It was a long time because like I really wanted it to be perfect. And I think what I did come out with is probably the best song I've ever done, at least so far.
Yes, I actually looked at the video that you had, the teaser video that you had pinned on your Instagram story, and I appreciated that you used the original Pennywise in that video from the TV series. Because I think an extremely iconic look, and I see that you also have him in the background, a little plush of him, so I think that's perfect. And Stephen King, like I said, he's such a famous writer for horror, so I think if you were, you take on this persona of writing from the perspective of horror villains, he's the perfect muse, I guess, to use. So with this song, it's I believe it has been released already. Where can
It just dropped today.
just dropped today, which is perfect. Where can people find it? And is it on really any music platform?
It's on every music platform you can imagine. If you use Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, whatever you use to stream music, just look up Poltergeist space OD, you'll find me. I really suggest new people to come and watch the video, just because like there's like sentences where I reference four movies at once. So um, to watch the video and like really see it happening is, I think it's very important to the experience of what I do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I think this is such a unique, I think you're such a unique artist in what you do with your music. And I think, horror fans are, I think, going to really love this, especially Stephen King fans like myself. So thank you so much for joining me. And I wish you the best of luck with this song and anything else that you release in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
As tech companies roll out new artificial intelligence offerings, the makers of ChatGPT are giving their software the ability to remember conversations. Privacy advocates have for some time questioned what information AI chatbots are able to store. OpenAI says it's testing a memory function in ChatGPT so it doesn't have to be reminded of key facts when completing tasks. The company says only a few users have access to the tool right now, and memories can be turned off or deleted on request. It's kind of cool.
It's interesting. Yeah, kind of honestly, AI in general kind of just goes right over my head. So I'm not too well versed in artificial intelligence, but I mean, it is definitely becoming the way of the world right now.
Yeah, just crazy
sure.
how smart these, computer programming, even applications at this point are just insanely smart. So super cool to see. But yeah,
let's just hope they don't rise up and take
exactly.
over.
I was going to say.
We've seen enough movies to know what happens when you mess with robots. And so let's fingers crossed that's not real.
That is very true. That is all the time we have from Primetime Local News. Have a great long weekend, everybody.